what happened to it?
Normally to have locked and
Yes.
to bring the phone to
Yes. No, I didn't do anything. Actually, one can
But it's not everybody. Maybe some people
subconsciously.
I'm not subconsciously trying. In my subconscious, I'm rich as fuck.
Okay, I tweeted yesterday that you wanting to be rich or wealthy or successful or something, and you sitting down and telling yourself to, like, if you just stay on the first step, you don't go beyond that. That's the wishful thinking. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how many of us have sat down to ourselves
I sit down.
because
I'm just not
so that when they give
what
you,
are we reached here?
so that when you get an alternative,
You
you understand? Of course, everybody wants to be rich, but how many people have sat down to say, look, there's no something about it. I am going to.
Are we good? So I think we already started up the conversation on a very interesting note this morning. Let me just leave this. Let's leave the studio for you. Let's leave the studio for you. I've already told you what you'll be doing. You come here, you sing from morning to night, and that's what you'll be doing. Since you said you sing very well, that's what you believe, though. That's what you believe. It might not be true.
Say it to yourself.
Are you serious?
Just because it's a lie.
I mean, I could have been a good musician.
You could have been, but right now it's not. I promise
If
you.
I was allowed to, I could have been a good musician.
Is your earring still there?
Yes, still there, but my headphones are covering them.
Right.
How you feeling, Dr. Michael?
Awesome.
Welcome to the show. This is Talking Therapy with Dr. Michael. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock till 10. We sit down with Dr. Michael and we unpack our feelings and our emotions as much as we can. And it's Daniel and Islamiyah this morning having this conversation with Dr. Michael. Happy third. Is this the third Tuesday?
I think so. I think it's the third.
Third or second?
This is
no,
the
it
third.
comes
No,
second.
this is not second.
Yes,
Today's the
third.
third. Yes.
Third
It's the
Tuesday.
third one.
Third Tuesday.
But Islamia, this your why are you wearing? Why is it on?
Why?
Conscious of the eye of our eye.
Yeah, I'm cautious of my eye. My eye hurts, so yes, I'm trying to. Yeah.
So does this take? does it?
I know, like the lights and everything.
Oh, the light.
So yeah, it makes it a little bit better.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Today is actually Creativity and Innovation Day.
Yep.
And in the early hours of the morning, we were talking about how to choose what, like, how did you define that in the beginning? Creativity is having.
It's making mistakes.
It's making
basically. But like art is knowing which one you want to choose. I'm going to look for it again.
Yes.
I'm going to look for it again.
Creativity is making mistakes.
It's allowing yourself
Art
make
is
then
allowing yourself to
make
make
mistakes. Then art is
Art
like
is
knowing which
to
one
choose.
to choose.
And it just spiraled into a lot of conversations this morning.
Yeah. So creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are in that part where they feel like they have so many skills. They know they can do so many things, but they don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. That would help them be the best version of themselves, or help them to fulfill their dreams of becoming who they need to be. And it goes out. We're also talking about kindergarten this morning. We're talking about advisors and how some people didn't have great advisors and they studied the wrong course, or they went just everybody studying this. Let me study it. We had a lot of African parents do that.
Yeah.
Oh, this person's child has studied this.
Yeah.
I remember one of the reasons I just knew that I have been rebellious and stubborn about what I wanted for a long time, even when I did not know how to understand it. I remember when I was done with secondary school, and I had not gotten admission. The church my parents were attending, the resident pastor there, his son also had not gotten admission, but the boy went to go and learn Babi.
Okay.
Then my parents said I should go and learn Babi. I was like, why? Like, justify because this person is learning Babi. They thought it was a skill that, and I was telling them that I have an interest in fashion design. If you let me explore this idea of me learning it, I think I can learn something in 1, 2, 3 months. And at the time they did not agree. I was like, well, if you're not going to
Why?
Huh?
Why didn't they allow?
Because they thought it was going to take longer to learn. And I was surprised but I'm pretty creative, so I don't think it would be difficult for me to learn. I think I can learn it and I'll be great at it. But at the time they didn't allow me to learn fashion design, and then they wanted me to learn barbing, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. And I didn't know why I said But I just knew that I didn't
You
want
just-
to do it because somebody else was doing it. The idea of that did not make sense to me at the time, and I was dogged with what I wanted. But by the time when admission time came, and I knew that when I saw my jam result, I was like, the first step is to make sure that I get out of the house. So by the time the admission came, I didn't even think about it. I was like, I'm going. And lucky for me, I think I probably discovered what I discovered that I wanted to do this thing called radio, and I wanted to talk. I think it was more I wanted to talk to people. And I was able to like find my parts, trying. And I think one of the things that helped me was I held on to a phrase that says, whatever your hands find to do, do it well. And I just said, if I keep doing this well, I can get better at it. And I can get better and more better at it. But there are a lot of young people today who are struggling with what they are actually supposed to do. Even some days I still question myself if this is what I am supposed to be doing. Especially on the days when the supper hits me well. I ask myself that
is this it?
Is this what I'm supposed to actually do? You know, like you look at the system I find myself, especially with radio and how the system is structured. You'll be like, okay, are you supposed to still be doing this? How long are you supposed to do this for? Should you pivot and change into another career path? Should you go and learn something? Should you go and join the force? You know, just looking at options to scale.
Yeah.
How do you respond to a young person who is sitting in confusion right now of not knowing what to do? And they feel like they are multi-potential, they have multiple potential, but they don't know exactly what to focus on.
Okay, so focusing on what you can do is like focusing on the creator. It's like worshiping the creator and not the creator. Focusing on what you can do and not yourself first.
Focusing on what you can do
and not yourself.
Okay.
First is like worshiping a creator instead of worshiping the creator.
Worshipping the creation.
The creation or the creature or a creature. So worshiping the creation rather than the creator, or it's more like worshiping the talent rather than the giver. If you don't place a lot of focus on getting to know who you are, you won't be able to manage effectively the talents and the giftings that you have. You won't be able to put them in the right direction. The reason is because who you are, knowing who you are, will help you to give the right direction. Your talents.
Knowing who you are will help you to give the right direction to your talents.
So your talents, you were born with your talents, you were born with your gifts. Self-discovery helps you. So they are waiting for you to give them a direction. And so you need to spend more time getting to know who you are. As you get to know who you are, you get to start appropriating those talents in the right department and you start using them well. For example, Daniel, we know that you have something in entertainment. We know you have something in the media, and then singing, engineering, talking. So if we get to look at it, or they seem to all be in the same stuff, but they seem to occupy different categories or something. But getting to know who you are will help you to be able to give them a sense of direction and also have timeline for each one. Timeline for your focus on each one, either for development or for manifestation.
Okay.
So because what if this period is for you to be in the media?
Okay.
And then what if the next 2 years you're still supposed to be in the media, but you're supposed to start developing your, let's assume that you're not let's just assume you have not developed your engineering stuff, which I know you have developed. But you're now supposed to spend the next 2 years to develop your engineering stuff. And then after 2 years, you start manifesting also in that area. So what we are just trying to say is we need to start focusing a lot on getting to know
Ourselves.
ourselves,
Okay.
and also getting to provide information about ourselves to ourselves, getting to talk to ourselves. For example, Daniel, you already know that you are a sound engineer. You are a born sound engineer. You like gadgets and the rest like that. You can start today by just talking to yourself. I'm a sound engineer.
Yeah.
You can even add to it, I'm an international sound engineer. Just keep saying it to yourself. Along the way, if you are to develop it in a particular way, the opportunity will come. If you are now supposed to now manifest it, maybe get a gig or get a job, it will come. So the question now is, what are you doing now? What kind of information are you getting yourself exposed to by yourself? The news, the information you are listening to, the people that you have around you, do they constantly remind you of who you are? Do they reflect who you are? Do they challenge you to getting to know more about yourself?
I think another thing we're talking about this morning was like imposter syndrome, which is now you figured out that right now this is what I want to do. Then you're doing that thing, but then there's just a voice somewhere, or there's just something that makes you feel like, oh more and nonsense I did do. You know, you do something really well, like you do something and maybe you just had like a big win or even a small win or any kind of win. But instead of you to be able to like allow yourself to like celebrate that win, there's something telling you that what are you celebrating, because it's nothing. You know, it's nothing. What you've done is nothing. And then there's just always the fear of, am I doing it the way I'm supposed to be doing it? I know that I'm doing it right now, but am I doing it? Is there something else I could do? There's always that question of, is there something else I could do? And you know, Daniel said something interesting that I had said on Sunday. Do you want to?
Oh yeah. I wanted to also share like an imposter syndrome I was feeling. So I'm working on like my first paid workshop that I'm putting together, and for some reasons I posted that video yesterday.
Yeah.
That video had a mistake in it. And I was almost not going to post it yesterday because I did not see the date in the video. I had to like write it in the comments, right? And I was like, I'm waiting that I want to start a paid class now. People will not start saying that I want to rip them off. So I was very careful about, even down to the pricing. The pricing, two of my friends still don't agree with how much I put the class at. They're like, what do you mean charging that amount of money? Like, are you joking with your years of experience, what you know? People you are thinking of, who you want to have on board in classes, you're charging that amount of money. And I was like, calm down now, you should calm down first. Let us do this one first. And they're like, no, you can't say let's do this one first. Even if it's 10 people, I'm like, you should wait. So I've been feeling like that. But on Sunday I was at a creative hangout, like an artist hangout, and I was talking with a young man, and he talked about him feeling like this imposter syndrome. And I don't know how that came out from me when I said it to him, but I thought of it after I've said it to him. I'm like, this thing makes sense. So I need to hold on to this very well. And I told him when he talked about imposter syndrome, and I said, I think of imposter syndrome as not being good enough, but what I need to do more. And I said it this way. I said, when I feel that feeling of that imposter syndrome, it's not about what I have done, it's about what I have not done.
Okay.
So I think of it as the work I have done is good. The imposter syndrome is there to remind me that there is more work to be done, not that the work I have done is not great. So when you feel imposter syndrome, don't think of it as you're not good enough. No, think of it as what else is left for you to do with this set of skills that you are currently manifesting or working in right now that you can still do. And I made reference to one of the trainings I had when I was a sound engineer, that everything you know as a sound engineer is only valid for 3 months. After 3 months, you have to get a refresher course, learn something new that is happening in that industry. And that was how I said it to the person. I was like, wow. Yeah, so
what?
Yeah, your pricing should reflect the pricing is more about the seller than the buyer.
Yeah, you said that. I know, I hear you. I get you, Dr. Michael. I hear when you say the pricing is more about the seller. And I think that was what affected how I priced it, because I thought of it as, and my friend said something, she said it's because you're still in the system and you're looking at it from where you're earning from. That's why you're thinking that people might not be able to afford it. And I was like, well, yes, because I know how I struggle to like keep up with what I'm currently being paid to fit all my bills at the end of the month, which is why I try to chase as many free or scholarship opportunities, because I cannot afford to pay that off what I'm currently earning. So now trying to put a price, knowing what I believe I'm one of the average earners in the industry, and then I want people to now pay more. And then so like that amount you could have charged, people spend that amount of money on a weekend to go and eat food that they would go to the toilet at the end of the day. And why do you think they can't pay that for knowledge? So yeah, it's more about me than them.
That is more about your mental perception, or your perception. Perception is mental already. Your perception of the value of your product.
So I don't think that the product I want to give is not valuable.
If you are to do valuation, or to estimate or to capture the value of your product in terms of naira,
yes,
how much would it be? Then compare with how much you are selling your product now.
No.
So it's more about don't forget that your product is a reflection of you. So it's more about me discovering my value.
Yeah.
So if you are selling a product for 10 naira now, and then in the next 1 year you have grown in your perception of who you are.
Yeah.
That product, the price will change. Of course, you still need to also consider the buying power of the client.
Yes.
But you also need to know who your clients are. And your clients are reflections of who you are.
Yeah.
So you see, that's why I keep on telling people you should not start a business if you have not done a lot of self-discovery. Because in market segmentation, in competitor analysis, which I don't agree to the word competitor analysis.
Competitor analysis.
Yeah. Market segmentation, discovering who your target audience are, is you need to. The summary of it all is that your audience, your clients are reflections of yourself. They are people like you. So if I want to know the people I'm sent to, that is my clients, all I need to do is understand myself, because they are like me. They are only going through what I have gone through. So the question now is, how much of myself do I know? Or do I want to make the computer analysis or market segmentation to be an academic one? But if I've done a lot of self-discovery and I've come to know a lot about myself, then the process of market segmentation will not be an academic thing. It will be very easy for me to narrow down on my clients and who they are. And so who your clients are will help you to know your pricing. And then it will reduce imposter syndrome.
But what in the case of, in terms of like the work you're doing, you talked about competitor analysis. Sometimes you look at what other people in the same industry that you're in are able to do.
The purpose was you to learn from them.
It's for you to learn from them.
You don't see them as competitors. I wrote extensively on it on LinkedIn. You see them as collaborators, not competitors. The word competitor is not healthy.
Even for business?
It's not healthy.
Even for business?
Yes, it's not healthy. I'm not in that, because it affects your perception of people.
Yeah. But I thought you're supposed to know your competitors and know your collaborators.
No, because okay, like I broke it down on LinkedIn. There's nobody like you. So there's no competitor.
Yeah, boy, that's
because so 7 people can sell the same product on the streets. Same product.
Yes. And
they each will have his or our own unique clients.
Clients.
So how are they competitors?
Like it's like bread.
Yeah.
Because several people selling bread, but people choose the bread that they like.
Based on
and then you now say, okay, we are selling the same thing, but the way I am going to sell this bread is going to be a reflection of me. So who will sell it that like me?
Nobody.
So I don't have a competitor. So you only have a competitor when you refuse to discover more. The more you discover about yourself and then you apply it to your business, the lesser the probability of you having a competitor. You are not supposed to have competitors. You are supposed to have monopoly. Because there's nobody like you in the whole of 9 billion people. The DNA you have, nobody else has it in the whole world. In the whole of human history. That's monopoly.
It's like a fingerprint.
Yeah.
There's nowhere you put your fingerprint anywhere in the world
Yeah.
that will not bring you.
Yeah.
You cannot replicate somebody else entirely.
Yes.
It would always be you.
Yeah.
So you're a monopoly of yourself.
Yes.
So the attention you should place the attention on yourself.
Yes.
On discovering who you are in the midst of everybody.
Yes. So your voice should not, nobody else should have the same voice like you in the whole world.
Yeah.
And in the whole of human history, when they play your voice,
yes,
it should be, everybody should be able to say that's Daniel.
I came to a, what do you call that thing? Maybe a realization on Sunday when I went to the New Culture Studio. And I realized that the goal, for the longest, I've always wanted to like fit into spaces, you know. But something clicked for me on Sunday when I was at this place, and it dawned on me that I don't need to fit into this space. I need to come there as myself and show them who I am. And that puts me in a position of quote-unquote leadership, where this is who I want. And I told one of my friends who was there, I was like, I came here today because I want to explore the other capacities and potentials that I have. You must force yourself to be in some of these spaces, not because you like them or you can't just rest at home, but you must be intentional about wanting to see what else is in me. If I walk into this space and I speak, would what I say hold waters? Would they listen and say, "Oh, okay"? An authority. And I think it was on Sunday it clicked on me that I'm actually like an authority when it comes to audio storytelling, and I need to begin to walk in that light. And just speaking in that group of people for about, I think I spoke for about maybe 6 minutes or less, and the kind of questions that started coming, the kind of mindset that started like changing, and I was like, yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
So if you focus more on yourself, on developing yourself, to the point that wherever you stand, you become an authority.
Yeah. And because are you part of the masses? Is your target audience, does it reflect the masses? And there's nothing bad about that.
Yeah.
Or are you part of maybe like the elites? Is your target audience, your clientele, are they like part of the elites? Of course, that's your reflection of who you are too. So if you are selling to the masses, there's a price tag.
Yeah.
You understand? And if you are selling to the elites, there's also a price tag. There's a price tag that elite, except you sell at that particular price, people in that class will not buy it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you are selling to the masses too, people in that class will not buy. And of course, there's also the level of, like I said, appreciation. Even if you are selling to the elites, you can start from the lowest and then start working on yourself. Then you start appreciating your value. Then your pricing starts increasing, and it corresponds to the level of who you are. Ultimately is spending time to getting to know yourself. Don't just start a business or a profession or a career. Let's do a lot of self-discovery so that you are able to set yourself apart.
Rolayo is listening, and he sent a message. He says, the one on voice I can contest. Voice can be learned. Actors and actresses copied the voices needed.
Sorry, again?
The person said, the one on voice I can contest. Voice can be learned. Actors and actresses copied the voices needed.
Oh, okay. She's talking about like you can't be unique as an actor. You can.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can. It's a game of Monopoly. In fact, maybe I should write a book. Life is a game of Monopoly.
Okay. All right.
Life is a game of Monopoly.
You know what? Stay with us this morning. It's still the Blast Rise on Blast over 98.3.